Well, hello everybody. What have we got going on today? What do we have? Let's see if we can get you in here. Okie dokie. We have got a 460 Stihl. And while y'all are looking right there on the table, I'm just trying to rinse the rest of this off a little bit. This thing was filthy. It was filthy. I'm trying to get the gasket surfaces and all that stuff clean because we're fixing to, well, you can see sort of what we're doing. You can see sort of what we're doing. Alright, what we're going to do is y'all watch that stuff. Y'all know what I'm talking about, where that come from. Mr. Foxworthy. Alright, what we're going to do is saw off the top of your head and poke around in there with a stick. He said you don't want your brain surgeon sounding like he come from the south. Which is very true and very funny at the same time. So, I really need to make me a base to set this stuff on while I'm doing this. But I also got to make sure I put it in the right way. For those of y'all that don't know, Stihl and Husqvarna's is exactly the opposite. The deep part on a Husky is this side of the crank. But on a Stihl, a lot of times it's this side. So I was fixing to heat that thing up and drop that rascal down in there and mess it all up. Now look at that. Now hold on just a second. I gotta go over here and visit the threader for a second. Sorry about that. There was a little spot on them threads that didn't look good, like something had hit it. And I wanted to run the rethreader over it and clean them threads up and make sure that they was okay before I assembled it. Because the last thing you want to do is assemble it and find out that the crank you used ain't no good. Which all the rest of it looked good. I just happened to see that all these other holes on this case look like they're in pretty good shape. We're going to put it together, and once we put it together, then I'm going to fix the rest of it up. But what I was saying is the shallow spot is on that side, and the deep spot is on this side. And anytime you put these together, you want to put the crank in the deep spot because it holds the rod to keep the rod still while you're doing everything else. So I have installed the crank bearings in here, and this side over here, I'm just going to heat this side up to torch because I ain't put the crank seal in it yet, and I can do that. So we're going to attempt to do that right quick. And I get a lot of comments on heating these bearings and stuff like that. I don't know where the people get their information from a lot of times. They're always so worried about me heating the bearings up with torch and this and that and the other. And I don't know where their information comes from. I really don't. I've been doing this for a long time, and I know how to do it. And the thing is if you don't know what you're doing, then you might have a problem. But if you know what you're doing, you usually don't have a problem. And there's that all the way in. Just like that. And once you slide that crank in there, it cools the bearing off, and there you go. It's not a problem, y'all. It's really not. Now, can you heat up a bearing enough to run it? Yes, you can. I'm not saying that you can't. I'm just saying if you know what you're doing, you won't have a problem, or you shouldn't have a problem. If you don't know what you're doing, then you can most definitely have a problem. I've been doing it for a pretty long time, so I don't normally have a problem. And the reason that I know what it takes to have a problem is because I have ruined several things. I ain't gonna lie to you, I have. I've messed up more than once. But if you don't mess up, you ain't never gonna learn nothing. The best part is to mess up on your own stuff or something that's cheap enough that you don't have a problem replacing it. That's the trick to it. Now, the only bad thing here is this gasket. These things are really in here. I probably should just go ahead and turn the torch back off. I was gonna just leave it burning until I got this on here and then heat up the heater. So yeah, if you see me heating these bearings and stuff up the torch, just know that I've done it a lot of times, and I know that it will work, and I do know that you can mess it up. Now we're not going to heat that other bearing because I don't particularly like the cage in it. It's not my favorite, but you can only get certain bearings for that thing over there, so you have to get what you can get. You have to get what you can get. You move the crank a little bit, you can put your sealer on here. I'm just going to daub a little on it because these cases got some age on this old set of 046 or 460 cases. They've been around a while and they've run. So they might have a little discrepancy or two in them. So we definitely want to put some sealer on them because we don't want no leaks. So we'll put a little on there. We'll set this here, put this here little gasket up in here. Maybe. If we can get it to cooperate, we will anyhow. Come on. Get on there. Get on in there. There where you belong. We're going to put a little dab on this side too. I'm just dabbing it on there so it'll have a little bit of extra sealer. A little bit of extra seal other than the gasket. Just as a precaution. And make happy little saws. Make a happy little saw out of it. This saw is real happy, y'all. The porting on this saw is awesome. The reason this saw runs the way it does is because of the way I tuned it. Because I let somebody take it. Glenn's got it now, but it was my saw to start with. And I let a buddy of mine borrow it to go cut some stumps. So when I done that, I tuned it pretty heavy. Because I really didn't want him cutting stumps with it set where it was at, because it would flat out scream. The porting on this saw is amazing. Now hopefully this all goes well here. And y'all seen me heat this thing up before. And I'm going to start heating it. I'm going to pause it, and then when I go stick it together, I'll start it back. Alright. I got her heated up. We are now heating the bearing. We just got the bearing heater down in there and we're turning it. We're waiting on the bearing to lock up. And it's actually pretty cool out here, so it might take a minute. Might not even do it at all. Might not be enough heat transfer. Well, they just locked up there a little bit. Just a little more heat in it. Them dowel pins a little bit tight. Y'all remember I had to drive them dowel pins out when I took this thing apart. There we go. There we go. There we go. All right. Now, get all of them started. Well, drop that in the floor. I want to get this started in here. That's the only one I was really worried about because the gasket was just not exactly perfect on that one. Right over the edge of the hole. Now we got them all in there. Except for this one. We're going to there we go. Oh, that's nice. See, that's how you can tell the bearing was still hot enough and the dowel pins were what was sticking it. See, I didn't have to knock the crank left or right to center it because the bearing was still hot enough to go down, but the dowel pins what was holding it up. So if it would have squinched down on the crank, then the crank would be pushed over after you tighten it up, and it would be snug. But this thing is smooth as butter, and I mean smooth as butter. She's smooth as butter, y'all. Now we're gonna put some crank seals in. I don't know whether I got the right socket I need on y'all. Doesn't appear so. 9/16 is what I normally use. There it is. There we go. We're gonna put just a little bit of oil on this crank right here. Come on. There we go. Put a little oil around that crank. I know y'all can't see a thing. You just have to trust me. I just put oil around the crank. But I'm sure y'all could hear it. But anyway, here, let me see if I can help y'all out a little bit. Let me give y'all a little raise. Oh, hold on, y'all, don't fall. Tighten the screw up. Tell me about that. I put the seal down in there, and I'm gonna take the socket, the oil bottle out of the way. Get her, try to straighten her out there a little bit. I had a little bit crooked. That looks pretty good. I'm good with that. I am good with that. We're going to lay her over on this side. See what we got for a driving device on this side. We're going to put just a little bit of oil on this side of the crank. That also runs down and gets in the bearing. So the bearing will be oiled up. The crank will be oiled. The seal will be oiled. And it's all good. We don't want no oil on the outside of the seal. That's what we don't want. We don't want any oil on the outside of the seal. We like to keep that dry, and we're gonna get that tap in there. Get that down in there just a little bit. Let it cook on one side. I can't see quite as good as I used to. That looks pretty good. You gotta get that about all the way down in there flush. It'd be better if I had something like that was flat, but I don't. So she's down in there pretty well. Everything looks good. I might have to check on that one. Sometimes these seals will turn a little bit on the thing, and you have to tuck them. I don't particularly like these seals as good as I do some of the other ones, but I'm gonna tuck on it just a hair and see how it looks. If need be, I'll change over to the red ones. There we go. So you put them seals in there, she snugs up a bit. All right. Now, we're going to stop this here because I've got to get the rest of the parts. And the rest of the parts are on another saw. Ooh, dang, we're already at 17 minutes. All right. I got to tear the other saw down so we can get the rest of the parts to build this thing. And we might do that here in just, well, it'll be just a minute for y'all, but I got some other things I got to take care of too. So I'll bring you back. All right. I'm going to say hello, everybody, because I don't know where this video is going to fit in. All right. If you've seen this one, then you've probably already seen the one of us putting the bottom end together for a Stihl, because that bottom end is going to be for this saw. This is a saw that I built a while back for myself, and Glenn had some trouble with a 575, so I give him this saw right here, and he give me the 575, and that's what we've been doing. Now, I need to remember that somehow. But I thought I cut all them screws the same length. But apparently, I did not. This tank, I didn't have screws for it. Or it was stripped or something. Y'all, hold on just a second. Sorry, y'all. The insurance lady called me and I hadn't needed to pay my insurance. So, what I was going to say is these screws were stripped. Some of them, so I went and got these larger concrete screws, and I used them in this saw. And this one right here is open in the back, and this one is not. So I'm gonna start these two back in there, and these two go in the bottom. Yeah, I got my bill folded out because, like I said, I had to pay my insurance right quick. The ladies called. I called this morning to pay it, and she was having some computer issues, so told her I'd call her back around 2 o'clock, and well, I was busy filming and I forgot, so she called me. But all right, we're just gonna take everything off of this rascal because we need it all. We need everything but center cases and the crank. We need every bit of it. Every bit of it. Every bit of it, he says. we're just going to go ahead and get all this humma jubba off here. But we don't need any of it in the way. It's going to be a complete and total. Well, that stupid piece of rubber's tearing. Well, it did tear. Oh well. Oh well, it is that sometimes. We're gonna pull one said carburetor off of there. I might check that carburetor just to make sure everything's good. Just trying to get this stuff out of here as fast as possible, y'all. There's no rhyme or reason. I'm just, everything that's right here in front of me that needs to come off is coming off. That way I don't have to turn it 100,000 times. So, that rascal needed a spark plug in there. I can't believe he done run the thing plumb off of it. This saw gets abused. Don't even think it don't. This saw here has been a staple of, and when y'all see what the pistons looks like in this thing, y'all might not even believe it'll even run. Y'all be like, that saw don't, ain't no way that saw run. The plug boot's actually stripped. The dang piece is still up in there. See if I can get it out. There's the end off the spark plug. See, y'all, this is the reason why I try to, when I do them spark plugs, I screw them on there tight and then I crunch them with a pair of pliers to try to keep it where it won't come back loose. It's not always a guarantee that it won't, but it's a better chance than not. Know what I mean? So we're just trying to get him tore down. Oh, the crank bearings out of this, y'all. I think I've done a video of putting a crank seal in this rascal, and while we were in the process of doing it, we found out the crank seal was out of it because it or the crank bearing was out of it, and it's loose in the case. And this is how we get Stihl flywheels off, y'all. I've had several people ask, how'd you get the flywheel off that Stihl? I have a flywheel puller. Y'all, I'm getting some of these tools up that I usually don't have. So it just makes it a lot easier. All right, y'all. Hold on a minute.